Hey, thanks for joining us for 21 Next. All right, if you woke up today on this Sunday, you woke up to see maybe a light coating of this snow right there falling on the ground if you woke up early enough, but it was pretty short-lived. The snow really did not last long. I remember looking out my window, seeing a light coating on the ground, then coming back a few hours later to look out the window, and most of it had melted or it was gone. It was done following flurries earlier today. This was all from a system that moved to the east, and it was in the Midwest, and it really caused a much different scene than what we got here. I mean, some places even recorded around 7 to 8 inches of snow, so it really did pack a punch in certain areas. Not here, but the weather department is pretty busy right now. They're tracking a lot of possible weather makers in the upcoming work week, even going into the weekend even. So meteorologist Ed Russo is in the weather center behind the scenes right now. Ed, you've been watching these systems closely.
Yeah, the Tuesday one's going to pack a little bit more punch to it. This is so that is a model basically depicting what's going to be happening across the area 10 a.m. Tuesday. You can see much of the area in blue indicating all snow. And then notice towards southern York, Lancaster County, we have the pink and the green indicating that wintry mix in purple. And then the green, yellow is some heavier pockets of rain. So right where we see that transition from snow to rain, that's the rain snow wintry mix line. And it's really difficult, even 36 hours out, to determine exactly how far north that line is going to go. But I do think everyone is going to see snow overnight Monday night into Tuesday, and that will cause slick travel. It really is coming at the worst time because we're going to see traffic issues at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning when most areas are going to be all snow. Now, that rain snow line, I think, creeps north of the Maryland border into southern Pennsylvania as we get towards late morning, early afternoon. So that's when we start dealing with that wintry mix, which is just going to make the snow real spots right on through lunchtime. And then as the precipitation ends, we'll probably see a period of light rain kind of ending as drizzle. But it's really the timing of this is coming at the worst time. And areas further south will get less, but they're still going to see impacts from this event, as I do expect everyone across the area to see all snow overnight Monday night into early Tuesday. So that is our first call map for the event. Again, Harrisburg southeast of 81, we're expecting a solid coating to 2 inches, which is enough to create treacherous travel. Northwest of 81, 2 to 4 inches. Higher changeover occurs later than expected. We will be looking at higher amounts Harrisburg Point southeast. But right now, the best information we have based on what we usually see this time of the year, being at early season, we're expecting at least a mix at some point during the storm, probably coming in here late morning into the early afternoon, and that will cut down on amount somewhat. But I don't want you to think that if you're in the coating to 2, you're not going to be impacted. I mean, this is going to start falling at night when the sun's down. So the sun, the UV radiation from the sun isn't going to help melt anything falling at night, and that's what we're going to be seeing Monday night to Tuesday. It should start flying in the pre-dawn, maybe even as early as 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to start from the southwest and then expand to the northeast. Again, expecting heavier amounts northwest of 81, full-blown winter storm across northeast PA and the Poconos, 4 to 6 inches plus up in that direction, and some of our northern counties are close to that. So it'll be interesting to watch over the next 24 hours or over the next 48 hours as mid-January. So that's what's going on in early December. We've got another system. I know, TJ, you were touching on that system next weekend. Yeah, so we've got our eyes on that too. But we've got a lot in front of us. All of our concentration is kind of geared towards the Tuesday system. So we're going to get through that, and then we'll get a little bit of a break. It's going to stay chilly. Friday, I think we could struggle just to hit 30 degrees, which is super cold for this time of the year. And then I do think we're going to have more cold air around, more cold air available to see possibly an event on Saturday that could be more all snow. So still, obviously, that's several days away. We need to get through this Tuesday system, but certainly expecting some area-wide impacts Tuesday morning from accumulating snow, turning to slush type deal.
And then I
So
know you
definitely,
said with the Tuesday
yeah.
system, it's still too early to tell just exactly how it'll impact the area. When do you think, I know the weather team has been very diligent about this and really just tracking this, but when do you think you're going to have
Well,
more
actually,
of a direct answer about what to expect?
yeah, so that snow map, I don't know, Sarah, if we can go back to that snow map. Those are the specific impacts that we're talking about. So that's kind of the first call that, everybody has been waiting for. And that, I talked with Tom and Steve about it, and we just we put our heads together, and that's the forecast that we could all agree upon. So that is the first call snow map. Like that's the bottom line. We drew that up about a couple hours ago, and that's our first call. Again, could be some adjustments if that rain snow line goes further north than expected, or it kind of stalls and doesn't come much further north than the Maryland border. So that is subject to change, but that is our first call forecast here at CBS 21. So those are the nailed down until, of course, this afternoon, now that we're finally 2 days away from the storm.
All right, so we want to make sure you get out your phone, take a screenshot of it, take a picture of it. Sarah, let's pop that map back. Also, make sure you watch again tonight at 10 and 11, where Ed will break down more of this system as it continues to track hour by hour here. And I know you mentioned the morning, of course, will be a tricky time for commuters because it'll come down overnight. What about that afternoon? Will it have all melted by then?
Yeah, that's a great question. I do think we'll get a lot of the snow off the road somewhat. I think we'll still have some slush around. I do expect it's going to be sticking around on many of the grassy areas, the more shadowed spots. Certainly a road that's driving through that, winds through woods that gets less sunlight could remain a little bit snow covered further in the afternoon. Even as temperatures warm above freezing, I do think we could still see some slush covered roads, especially in the shadier spots. But bottom line, the evening commute is going to be a lot better than the morning commute. I mean, it really couldn't come. It's not like this is a huge amount of snow, but it really is coming at the worst time. Tuesday morning commute. A lot of people have that. A lot of people are still off tomorrow from the Thanksgiving holiday. So there's a lot more people and kids going back to school on Tuesday. So it's just really like the timing of it, I think, is what is making this more significant. So something that people want to plan ahead and just allow extra time. It's also really the first snow event. I know a lot of people sometimes just, they forget how to drive in this kind of stuff. You want to make sure that when you're driving around, you want to allow extra braking distance between yourself and the car in front of you, because if your car starts sliding, you're going to need more wiggle room to come to a stop, as opposed to when you're traveling closer to somebody, not tailgating, but traveling closer behind the car in front of you.
Yeah, and I was just about to bring that up. A lot of kids will be going back to school. People will be going back to work. Even snow that people have to look out for in the coming days, but also the cold, just the bitter cold itself. It's going to be very cold.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago. We were still seeing 50s and 60s during our afternoon highs. Earlier this month, this is the coldest early December I've seen in 6, maybe 7 years. Certainly since I moved back to Pennsylvania, it's quite an early season cold stretch. And Friday in particular.
Yeah, and of course, with that, when temperatures stay below freezing and it snows and it rains.
Yeah, so we see them melting during the day, and then at night it falls below freezing, so we get that refreezing, the black ice. The other thing is, and we'll be more confident about this after the snow falls, but if the snow that falls on Tuesday sticks around Wednesday and Thursday, which I more than likely think a lot of it will, we could be looking at temperatures Friday morning starting off in the teens. We have 20 there for Friday morning, but I definitely think we could be seeing some teens
And then,
potentially, this week, especially with fresh snow cover.
And then
on the
with
ground.
everything that you all are tracking right now, and with how busy December's already looking, we haven't even entered December yet.
No.
Do you think it's going to look like this throughout the rest of the month?
It certainly seems that way. It looks like we're going to have plenty of cold air around through at least mid-month, and it's possibly even going to last through Christmas. So we have a lot of cold air. Usually, oftentimes, there's a cold pattern combined with a very active storm track, which favors a higher than normal chance of wintry events early in the season. So we've kind of got both, or if we do have an active storm track, we don't necessarily have the cold around, but with this particular December, the way it's looking, we not only have plenty of cold air around, we also have a very active storm track. So I would think I'm pretty confident that this is not, we don't really see our first snow until January, and that's not unusual. But this is literally happening December 2nd, right when the month starts. And I think this is just the start of a more active period, which, when we talk about winter weather, a lot of people talk about it from a negative standpoint, obviously because it's impactful. But ski resorts, we have ski resorts around here, like Ski Roundtops, Ski Liberty, and we've had kind of dud winters in the past 5-6 years. So it's great news for winter sports. I mean, you can't deny. I mean, if these places are able to open before, there is a positive to this. But obviously, a persistent cold like this drives up heating costs. It can cause wear and tear on your car, stuff like that. So it's a whole mix of impacts. But sometimes you just have to look at the silver lining too, and this is good certainly for skiers and snowboarders that just haven't had the winter they've been.
Of course, on the weekends, kids are going to sure enjoy building those snowmen. Of course, This is the time now.
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Because the snow that falls Tuesday is going to be heavy and wet. It's perfect for making snowballs. It's perfect for making snowmen. I guarantee you, we're going to be seeing viewer submissions of snowmen.
And again, now is the time to drop comments now while we have the meteorologist in here. He can answer questions. So if you have any comments, drop them. We can see them. And Sarah, as we get comments in, if you could pop them up, that would be great for us. But overall, okay, so it looks like there's a comment right there, Ed, for you.
I don't think I can see it. Oh, yeah, we do. Yep. Yeah. So Jason's saying he had some snow on the ground in Richfield earlier this morning. And a lot of places did. It was just a light coating. It was, it actually looked pretty this morning because it was off the roads, but it was just on the trees and the grass. So definitely going to see more of that on Tuesday morning. So like I said last night, the whole system this morning was nuisance, but this one on Tuesday is definitely going to be more impactful. Again, not a huge amount of snow, but it's kind of the first solid event for us, and it's coming at a really inconvenient time. So I think we start seeing it as early as 2 a.m. Monday night into Tuesday morning. Most of the snow is probably going to fall between 2 and 10 a.m. before we start to see that changeover from snow to a mix to rain, from south to north. Northwest of 81 may never change over. They may remain snow across the entire event, which is why I have more snow up in that direction, 2 to 4 inches. And obviously the ridge tops over 1,600 feet could tap into some locally higher amounts as well. And as is always the case with these systems, if that rain snow line ends up further north earlier on, lesser amounts. If it ends up having trouble making it north of the Maryland-Pennsylvania border, we'd be looking at higher amounts, meaning the 2 to 4 inch, the 2 to 4 inch area would be moved to the southeast a bit. So that's our first call map, but usually we're able to confidently get an idea on what's most likely to happen 1 to 2 days out from the event, which is the window we're in right now, basically 18 hours, or no, not about 36 hours out from the event.
Yeah, and then just looking ahead, I know you said you really want people to focus on this weather maker happening Tuesday. Saturday, the weekend, what is it looking like though so far right now?
So-
Can you just give people a preview?
Yeah, so the Saturday event, I think it has the potential to be a little bit snowier, simply because I mean that's if the storm comes together, but there are some signals in the data that suggest a winter storm on Saturday. But if one does evolve, there's going to be plenty of cold air around for this to be more likely all snow as opposed to a mix. But it's still an early season event, so a mix is still on the table. But if I had to guess which one would be snowier, it would be the Saturday system as opposed to the Tuesday. So it could be impactful what's happening over the weekend. But it's really hard to get even really specific on scenarios because the storm is there or the storm signal is there, but there's really nothing more concrete beyond that. But mark my words, by Tuesday or Wednesday, we're going to have some scenarios down on how Saturday may unfold, and there may be nothing. Nothing may happen. But that doesn't mean we don't have any idea what's going to happen. There does seem to be a signal Saturday, especially for the potential of another next weather maker.
Yeah, and it looks like we have another comment from Tyler. Sarah,
Okay.
our digital producer, if you could pop up this comment. Tyler says he thinks there's going to be more snow for the Lebanon area. So you're looking at the map, you can kind of see it looks like he's going to be right as compared to Lancaster, York. Lebanon looks like the northern portion will receive some more snow.
Yeah, especially northern Lebanon County where Fort Indian Town Gap is. All those ridges around there, those higher elevation areas certainly could be tapping into 2 to 4. Maybe over 1,200 feet, we could be looking at some areas even 5-6 inches. That would be isolated. But also southern Lebanon County, northern Lancaster, we've got Mount Gretna area. That's also another high elevation area of northern Lancaster and southern Lebanon. And those higher elevation spots always perform better in these types of situations. So even though I have a coating to 2 throughout all of Lancaster County, those higher elevation spots can squeeze out a little bit more snow and are also colder. So for that reason alone, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a few lollipop areas in the coating to 2 that got higher than 2 inches. I mean, geography has huge influence and impacts on what you ultimately Lancaster County towards Chester County. We have Welsh Mountain, which sits higher than the surrounding valleys. That area also could tap into slightly higher amounts than the surrounding valley areas. But this is just textbook. Valleys see less, higher elevations see a little bit more. It's always a challenge in this area with these systems.
Yeah,
it's fascinating to watch it unfold.
Oh yeah, the weather team is going to be busy this week.
Yeah,
that's definitely going to happen. All right. Well, thank you for watching 21 Next. Of course, now is the time. Make sure your car is prepared. Make sure your home is prepared with anything you need for your heating system, your car, your tires, all of that, your windshield wipers. Make sure all of that is prepared, especially as we enter into what's expected to be a pretty active December moving forward. Thank you for watching 21 Next.